What is up, tribe? Welcome to today's episode of the Connect 7 podcast. My name is Thaddeus Sims, and I am the host. And if you've been connecting with me lately, share an episode with a friend so that they can tap in. With that, y'all, let's get into this episode because I have a bit of a story time that I want to share with y'all. And that's what we're going to do. But before we get into that, no announcements, but I will share the fun fact with you because I I like this fun fact because it's giving props to, my new country. So the fun fact is the world's largest grand piano was built by a 15-year-old in New Zealand. The piano is a little over 18 feet long and has 85 keys, which is three short of the standard 88. I thought that was pretty cool because I was like, hey, that's my new country. Yes, 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 yes. Got to get a prop. So I seen the piano and I was like, my God, that thing is. It sounds weird, but it's like, man, that thing is long. But hey, it is what it is. Some of us like long pianos. So yeah. All right, y'all. So let's get into this episode. I'm gonna call this story time the silent self. And how I'm gonna just go through this is I'm gonna share pretty much like giving y'all an insight on the story that my ancestor shared with me in our process of building our relationship with the creator, right? So I'm gonna share with y'all kind of how it kind of led there, the things that this ancestor said to me, and this is really just sharing with y'all this story because I feel as though we all have this silent self. Matter of fact, I know we all have this silent self. And I just thought it was just very interesting how my ancestor brought this to light for me and how it's really just stuck with me. And it's just been causing a lot of changes and self awareness. If y'all looking at this, y'all probably looking at me like, yeah, you over here really deep in thought. But I promise you. So take a moment, chill for a second, and let's get into the story. So, boom, right? In progressing lately, so this week I've been working on progressing in my spiritual and magical practices. And it's been having me to connect with my ancestors that are way far back in the family line. So I can usually feel kind of like what generation an ancestor that's connecting with me, kind of like where they're at. Usually I can say for sure I can feel like, okay, this is my mom's side, this is my dad's side. And the most that I can definitely feel is like, okay, if you at least five generations back, that's like a good. This I can feel that. Seven generations back is a stretch. It's like, ooh, you a blur, but I know you, my mom and them. You know what I mean? But anything past that, my gosh, it's like, ooh, things are very much different. Now, this particular ancestor that I've had to connect with in my practices because right now I'm working on creating like my own traditions with things because of the practices, because of the things that I'm learning. And it's causing me to speak with the ancestor in this case who started certain traditions. And it's like, well, I'm doing something different. I would like to learn from someone who they started it. What and I want to know, okay, how did you do it? Where were you? What was it like for you? And boom, it connected me with this ancestor. Now, it's kind of funny. Just a quick little story on this particular ancestor. He's really far back, and I'm used to being read. I'm used to my ancestors telling me, just reading me for filth if they need to, or just telling me stuff about myself that I didn't know. But in this particular case, the ancestor just kind of started off like looking at me, kind of like if you're watching this, it's that look like, mm, mm. That look that they just looking you up and down. It's like, hmm. And so I'm like, okay. And the first thing out of this man's mouth is like, your blood is different. And I'm like, okay, yeah, g- great. And he was just on that for a little bit. He was like, it feels thicker. And I was like, is it because there's more metals in it? And yeah, I'm like, side note, it's just the things that we be eating and the way the lifestyle is in the current, times and now we need to really detoxify. So there's a lot of probably like metals in our body. It's just a thing. But he was just reading all of that and I was just like, yeah, it's a bit different. But anyways, he went into some more stuff, but I just thought that was funny. But we got past that. And when it came to these new practices and traditions, there's one tip that I'm going to take, because he's given me a lot. But the main thing for this story was how he was saying, in starting this tradition, these new traditions, and how it was for me, the first things that I had to do, one of them being I needed to build my relationship with the creator. And if y'all been listening to, I think the last few episodes, I've been talking about me building my relationship with the creator. So I'm like, oh, okay, interesting timing. And in that process, he could feel that there were some resistances coming from me with that. And this was like me in my early stages. And basically, we chatted about that. And he was asking me about those resistances. And I was like, to keep it a buck with you, um, I was told a lot of things about the creator. Growing up, he this, he that. If you listen, this happens. If you don't listen, your ass is gonna be, I don't know, hotter than a few hoes on Broadway, or hotter than your mama be, burning you with the hot comb. It's just, all of that. And then there was other things, and I was just like, what I got from that is to be obedient, listen, submit, surrender. And I was just like, none of that is me. It just don't work for me. I'm like, I can't just, people just tell me just do this. It don't work. Because if the creator's telling me do this, why? Please, give me the resources of why. Um, I need to know your sources, because you just telling me do this. I'm gonna question. I'm gonna ask questions. But that was wrong in certain places. But we're not gonna get into that. And I was just telling him just like my resistances and the things that led into that. And so the ancestor was basically saying, okay, I get that. He was like, I had a little bit of resistances too, but he was like, let me ask you. Number one, he was like, you can have these questions and things like that, so you can do that. So it's just, you have to build that relationship. But one of the questions that he asked me was like, since you connected more with the creator, has your life been better? Certain parts. And I was like, yes, I will definitely say that it has been. And once we kind of went into just different questions that he was asking me about the creator, like, how has that relationship been? And I was just like, it has been helpful, but I noticed that our relationship is a bit different. So, I can say a few things and they got it, and then boom, we're good. And he was like, okay, great. you know. So he went into a story, which I'm sharing with y'all, which is like the heart of this story time. Is he was saying, descendant of minds, there's a silent self that everyone has. And in this silent self, this is where our true thoughts, our true emotions, this is where they lie. This is where, all of that is home to. This is the silent self that you don't share with anyone. You don't say it. So if you're struggling, or if these are thoughts that you would never dare say it out loud to anyone, it's all of that. And I would say modern times, that would be equivalent to the story of how they say there's the side of you, or there's the you that you show the world, the you that you show your close friends, and then there's the you that's when you're by yourself. That aspect, that would be your silent self. And he was saying that with this silent self, this is where you need the most support. And the only one who can support you in that is the creator. And when he went into that, he was like, it's all about building your relationship with the creator, and it's going to be different for everyone. And In that, I was telling him about my relationship. I was like, I definitely give you that. For me, the creator is more like my mentor. Like, that's the relationship that we have. I share some things or I talk to him. He mentors me on this, and he was like, great, you already have like y'all relationship dynamic that works for you. So for him, he was sharing, his relationship dynamic with the creator, and his was the giver. So he was sharing the story of how in his time where he gave a lot, helped people, but his silent self, what he struggled with was people being able to give to him in the ways that his silent self needed. And no one could really help him in that aspect except, the creator. And so he was saying that's going to be the same with you. And I was just like, when you put it that way, that does make sense, because there are things that I've never said out loud or said to anyone, and it's in most cases, guys, this isn't like you just don't tell nobody or it's a secret. It could literally just be thoughts that you have every day that you just never really said out loud. It's like, oh, it came up, it went, and it's just like, oh, this came up, oh, well, let's talk about it this time, I guess. And it's not like, oh, I didn't want to tell nobody, but it's, again, it's just these things. Or it could be thoughts that I'm gonna call some of y'all out. It could be, you distracted yourself with the work and this and that, and then when your ass home, them thoughts are like, yeah, bitch, let's look into it today, and you resist. But so, there's that too. And anyways, he was saying all of that, about that support and how you need that. And so after all of that, this helped with these new traditions, these new practices, because with my spiritual practices, because it's just like there's going to be parts where I need help, or I need, in my case, mentorship and certain things that I'm going to do that only the creator can help me with. Now, that was kind of the gist of that. And I'm not going to just go too deep because I ain't trying to put my ancestors' business out there like that. And I don't want him beating my ass. So I share this story with you guys because it begs a question that I have for you. And this is something that you can have silently with yourself and ask yourself. But the question is what is it that your silent self needs help with? And you can take a moment to pause and just ask yourself what that is. I know for me, it was a lot. It's still a lot of things that I need like help with. And y'all know this is a podcast where I've always been authentic and open with y'all. And for me, there are things that I sometimes have a little bit of roadblocks because it'll be conflicting scenarios where I'm like, I feel this, but my backgrounds is not in this. Like my traumas, I don't have that, so it'll be weird. So, you know, just to share that with y'all, so y'all be like, okay, well, what are you talking about? But I'm gonna give y'all an example. So for me, one of the things that I'll say the creator has been helping me. So I'm gonna just change it to my mentor because that's just how I say it. So how my mentor has been helping me is I will tend to overthink and stress really fucking quick. And in those overthinking and stressing, it could lead to triggers where um I'm stressing because there may be something that I'm trying to get to happen, but I know that I need to get my shit together internally, but it's like I have all of these things I need to do before I can kind of sit down and like kind of talk with myself. So what'll happen is an example was like I needed to meet someone one day. So in that same day, I needed to meet someone, go to the store, go to the grocery store, and cook. And I knew I was feeling conflictions within myself, but I was on a time and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go and do this. And one of my triggers is when I'm stressing or overthinking is that I will tend to get busy in a sense of, okay, so I'm gonna go to the store and I'm gonna get this. Then I'm gonna go grab all of these things, and then I start making little lists, and then I start going to knock it out. And then I'm like, okay, I have to cook. I look at the time. And I'm like, okay, I have this amount of time. I want this prepared, before my partner comes home. Boom, we're gonna do that. We're gonna have this going on. Okay, I'm gonna wash the dishes, but while I'm washing dishes, I need to take out the trash. While I'm taking out the trash, I need to remember to put the trash down. So I do this. And it's just like, it's really because I'm overthinking and stressed and I have not taken the time to get my shit together because I have all these things going on. Now, because of my relationship, building that with the creator, I will go out for a brief walk and I'll put my headphones in because sometimes it'd be some intense conversations I need to have with this creator. And I don't need people in my business because, they'd be like, oh, this man is having a serious conversation. Like, I don't want them thinking that I'm crazy in New Zealand, not yet. So I will, I will have my headphones in and I'm like, okay, hey, I need to chat with you. And every time I'm doing this, my relationship with the creator is he's like, relax. Then I'm like, okay, what's going on? And it's just like, this is what I need to get done, but I'm thinking of this. This is how I feel. This is what I have to do, and it's making me do so and so. And then the creator's like, okay, so you are solution minded, right? Yes. So you've already done what you could on this. Yes. Okay. So since you did that, the next thing that you have to do, you just have to do this one thing, put it here. You already know to do this here. Just do that and you're good. Relax. You already know it's going to work out, but I know that you need to see something physically happen for you, but you know that it will. So instead, do your part, chill, and do the next thing that you have to do. It's going to work out. And I'm like, okay. And yes, that may seem like so simple, but it's like I just needed to talk it out. And it's easier for me to just do it while I'm out and about because I can just connect with the creator like that. For me, it's just simple versus if I call somebody and they're busy or they got some other shit going on and it's just like, I didn't need all of that. Like, me specifically and you know how I get. So it's just like, all right, what do I need to do? And it works out. So that's some examples like how my silent self, which is not so silent now because I'm telling y'all, but how my silent self needs that support and that help in the ways that my ancestors shared with me. And since then, it has been on the forefront of my mind where I'm like, yeah, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to constantly ask for help. And I will say that in this whole silent self that my ancestor threw at me, I'm noticing, and when I say this is not a negative self-talk. But when I say this, I'm like, damn, I need a lot of help. I need a lot of help, but not in a sense of like, baby, you're bad. It's more in the sense of like, I'm so used to doing shit myself, and now I can say like, you know what? No, we need to delegate. So now it's like, yeah, I do need a lot of help in this area, that area, and it's okay. Like now I know I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to overexert myself no more or overthink. So yes, I need help in this area, and it's just been like, okay, that felt good to say. It's not uncomfortable no more. Now I can just say it. And it's all because of, again, that relationship and having that support for that silent self of mine, which isn't so silent now. So with that, guys, like I said, that's the question I'm gonna leave with you. What does your silent self need help with? And take a think on that. And with that being said, guys, that is it. I just wanted to share this story with you all because it impacted me in ways that it's still going on. And I thought a lot of people could benefit from this. So wanted to share it with you guys. So enjoy the rest of your day, night, evening, and I look forward to speaking with you all next week. Later, later.